Hi everybody, it's Leela from Miss Kiss Creations. Welcome back to my channel. Today's video, I am going to show you how I created these two beautiful tumblers using only alcohol ink and alcohol. Like always, all of my materials used for these tumblers will be posted in my description below, so be sure to check that out. And for all the beginner crafters out there, please be sure to check out my description for all my tumbler help tutorials. Let's go ahead and get started with these tumblers. So this is going to be a rather easy tumbler tutorial. I'm starting out with a 20-ounce stainless steel tumbler. I prepped it down, I sanded it, I wiped it down with 91% alcohol, and then I spray painted it with a nice flat white spray paint. I do have a bag down as well just to protect, you'll see why. And then I'm going to be using 91% alcohol, and then I'm going to be using alcohol inks. I will have the colors posted in my description below and the brands of alcohol inks I will be using. This is going to be another tutorial that I am doing first with y'all, so I am actually loving the fact that I'm doing these tutorials first with y'all, so if it does turn out to be a flop, then you guys can see it together and then we can fail together. And y'all can know that just because you failed doesn't mean you gotta stop making tumblers. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my 91% alcohol and I'm going to drench this tumbler. If you do not have a lot of alcohol, I do not recommend you doing this because this does waste a lot of alcohol. What you can do is put one of those pans down underneath, let it catch it, and then put that alcohol back into a separate container. It is contaminated, it will be contaminated, but at least you're able to use it again. I don't have one of those pans like the Dollar Tree little throwaway aluminum pans. You can use that. So I'm first going to just take this and just put it all over the tumbler and drench it with alcohol. Just like so. Now I want to make sure I'm covering it up all of that tumbler, and then I'm going to take my alcohol inks, I'm going to keep them close, and then I'm just going to put it on the tumbler like you see. And it's going to look like a hot mess, and that's all right. You're first going to see it like that, and then all the inks are going to run down, and then I'm going to apply more alcohol ink on a different, for a different color, and then add my other two colors. And then my last one is going to be my blue. So now what I'm going to do again, I'm going to take my alcohol again and just put it on the tumbler like you see. And I'm now, instead of just dumping it on there, I'm focusing on spots that are kind of white or that's kind of separated. So there's a spot coming around here. I'm just going to focus on that and just let that go and then let it spin. So what you can do is you can repeat these steps. So let's say I want more purple down at the bottom here. I'm just going to add my purple at the bottom. At the top, you can see the blue didn't even show up, which that happens sometimes working with alcohol inks. Sometimes the colors just don't show, so I'm going to add that blue after. And then at the bottom here, I noticed that a lot of the alcohol didn't really do its thing or make it, you know, blend. So I'm just going to add more, and you can see it's already changing. Now I'm adding more blue on there, so now it's more of that blue and pink instead of that pink and purple. And then I want to personally add all the alcohol ink in the areas where I haven't, or I'm sorry, the alcohol in the areas where it looks kind of bland. You can see it just kind of does its own thing. And then what you're going to do is you're going to make sure to get the bottom. So I'm going to add some alcohol on the bottom, and then I'm just going to take some blue and just put at the bottom and some other colors. And let your tumbler spin, do its thing. You can see it's separating. So there's a lot of things going on with this tumbler. It looks really, really cute. I like the purple, I like the pink. Another cotton candy tumbler. And then what I'm going to do is turn off my turner and just move my cup around like so, and then move it all around as well. So I just want to see what kind of effect that makes, because there's a lot of alcohol on this tumbler. You could see it just smears all together. Turn your cup turner back on. Going to be taking some white alcohol ink and just placing that on the turner now. You could see with that white alcohol ink, it kind of separates those colors more. And then if you want to add more of, let's say, the paint color, you can add that as well. And I'm not going to be adding any more alcohol. I'm just going to be adding alcohol ink from here. It looks like I have drenched it enough. I've put a lot on here, so much that the color has blended. So now I'm going to go back and kind of add different colors just to kind of separate or kind of make it look like separated colors again. So this is a super easy technique. I really am liking it. I like how it's turning out. So now I'm going to allow my tumbler to just keep spinning until this alcohol is completely dried. Thankfully, alcohol dries fairly quickly, so it shouldn't be too much longer, maybe 10 minutes. Once this is dried, I'll do another tumbler. Now for my next tumbler, I have prepped it as well. I'm not going to be adding as much 91% alcohol to this one. I'm going to be adding a little less, and the scheme is going to be a green color scheme. So I'm going to turn on my tumbler again, and then I'm just going to add the alcohol ink on the tumbler. I'm sorry, the alcohol on the tumbler, not the alcohol ink on the tumbler. And then I'm going to add the colors. So I will be using all Tim Holtz colors first, and then we're just gonna see what happens. So it's going to stick only where the alcohol is. And then I have one more color green. Thought the green scheme would be kind of different. I don't really work with greens. I usually go right for the purples and the blues. And then I'm going to add a little bit more alcohol on there as well. And then I'm just kind of dumping it on there. Oh, I like how it's turning out. And then going back again with that alcohol ink. And I want to kind of, like I did before, I want to cover that. If I add too much alcohol, then what's going to happen, it looks like it's going to kind of fade. But I still want it completely covered. So I'm just going to be adding more of the colors again. And make sure you're getting the bottom. Don't forget about that. So I'm just going to add a little bit on the bottom here. Let that spin and then add some colors to the edge there. And then I'm going to go in with my white and then add some there. I really like adding that white to these tumblers because it kind of helps it, like I said on the earlier tumbler, should help it separate. So let's see what it's going to do with these greens. So you can see the tumbler is still, at least I can see that tumbler is still, it's still wet with that alcohol. So I'm going to be taking my finger and just kind of smushing around some of that alcohol because I don't want any of those bald spots on this tumbler. And if you are very sensitive to smells, make sure you have your window open because this alcohol is very, very strong. So I'm just taking my finger and I'm just kind of blotting it just to get every little spot covered because I don't want any naked spots on my tumbler. And then same for the bottom. Just gonna get all that. And then what you could do is add a little bit more because if there's some spots that are still a little wet, you can add a little bit more up top. Just make this tumbler your own. So I don't know about y'all, but I like this design. I like what the white does. It gives it kind of a 3D little look to it. Make sure you let your tumbler spin like I did before, and then once it's done spinning, once you notice that it's basically completely dry, that's whenever you're going to take it with that Krylon Crystal Clear. So this is probably the most wet part is the top. So I'm just gonna let it do its thing, see what happens. So I'll see y'all in about maybe 10 minutes or so. And for my next step, I'm going to be applying my epoxy to my tumbler. I'm not going to want to apply a lot of epoxy to this tumbler because I will be adding a decal. So I just want that thin coat just to seal in that design. You can see how gorgeous that looks underneath epoxy. I absolutely love this tumbler. I'm going to let my tumbler spin on the cup turner for about 5 to 6 hours. After 5 or 6 hours, I'm going to turn off my cup turner, then let my tumbler dry or air cure for another 18 to 19 hours. I'm going to be allowing my tumbler to dry or air cure for a total time of 24 hours. So I'll see y'all then. Welcome back, everybody. My tumblers have been spinning and air curing on their turners for at least 24 hours. And guys, look how gorgeous these tumblers turned out. Y'all know I love this purple and pink one, but this green one, even though I'm not a green person, I really do love this design. You can see the bottoms of these. They turned out cute as well. One thing I really liked about these tumblers, the fact that I am putting alcohol on these tumblers and then putting the alcohol ink, there are no fisheyes on this tumbler because as you know, whenever you prep your tumbler, one of the things you have to do is wipe it down with that 91% alcohol. So me applying all that alcohol over and over again on these tumblers, the tumblers didn't fisheye at all. So look how smooth these tumblers turned out. The only thing left to do is place a decal on these tumblers, epoxy it, and then clean up the inside. If you need any help with placing decals on a tumbler, epoxying a tumbler, or cleaning up the inside of your tumblers, I will be having my beginner playlist help tutorials in my description below, so be sure to check those out. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please be sure to give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more tumbler and craft videos. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see y'all next time.